Mr. Big Shot Daniel Turner with Power of the Future is here, and he just got done briefing Congress. Gosh, I want to brief Congress on something so bad. I don't even care what it is. Daniel, what happened in Congress today?
Well, first of all, Jesse, you are doing way more important work. I know you ran for Congress back in the day, and I think changing hearts and minds the way you do and writing books like you do, because you know how much I loved your anti-communist manifesto book, which I still haven't gotten autographed, by the way, but I won't hold that against you.
I'll get you one.
What you're doing there is way more important than what these folks do up here. Not that what they don't do is important. It is important. But talking to the American people and motivating them and inspiring them is way more valuable.
Well, thank you, my brother. Now, tell us what you were doing. What happened? What's going on?
We're talking about energy, of course.
Okay.
You know, and we're talking about how we have a lot of bad energy situations happening. We have bad energy policy, decades of it. It is not President Trump's fault. But when you're the guy in office and it lands before you, you're the one who's going to get the blame. And we've got 30 years of bad energy policy, just like we have 30 years of bad spending policy, just like we have how many years of debt, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, right? All these systems seem to be coming to a head. And eventually, you know, the straw is going to be one too many and the camel's back is going to break. And so my message here was, how do we prepare for this? How do we, you know, take the necessary steps so it doesn't happen? But also, how do we start messaging to our constituents like, look, we're trying to make some big boy decisions. And big boy decisions are not always popular. I used a very silly analogy. I said, if you have a kid and that kid loves his iPhone or his iPad or sugar, you know at a certain point you got to take it away. And that kid screams and yells and you give in because you're tired of the screaming and yelling. But you know that you are not making that kid's life better. You are not preparing that kid for the future. We're at the stage now that with the subsidies drying up for wind and solar, with the EV tax credits, right? The kid is screaming and yelling. But if you give in and keep spending money to keep that kid from screaming, you are not making the country healthier. So we're at the screaming kid stage of American energy right now.
Daniel, you educated us last time about the energy crisis we are heading into because these data centers, these mega data centers, keep getting built and they're gobbling up all the energy we have, and then there's not going to be anything left for you and me when we flip the light switch on. So how do we get more energy fast? Because why does it take so long to create more of it?
It's absurd. Bad policy, without a doubt. Everyone is slow to build. But they're not slow to build data centers, and we're putting them up left and right. I don't know where in Texas is that famous Tesla one that they keep seeing all the Instagram videos. The guy's driving on the highway, and it shows you how long he's driving. And the factory, is it outside of Austin, outside of Houston? I'd love to know what online energy, what baseload energy they brought online when they gave Elon the permit to build that. That thing probably takes more electricity, I'm guessing, than the city of San Antonio. I don't know what electricity was brought online. I hate to always use Texas as an example, but I want to demonstrate that it's bipartisan stupidity. Texas has closed several reliable coal plants in the last decade. And the promise is we're going to build more wind and we're going to build more solar. And wind and solar don't work because we have a thing called night and we have a thing called no wind. And what's your electricity rate in Texas, right? You're paying 30%, 40% more than the national average, and you're paying a hell of a lot more than you paid in the last couple of years. So why is wind and solar the viable option? And that's what your governor will say, sadly. That's what everyone running for office will say. We need to support Texas with good, clean electricity, clean wind, and clean solar. I want low prices, you know, and I don't know what the temperature is right now. I saw yesterday it was 88 degrees in Houston. That's pretty good for August. But that's not how you do energy policy, right? Like, whew, thank God it's not hot.
Speaking with Daniel Turner, Power of the Future. Daniel, what's wrong with coal? I love coal. Nations are powered by coal, and everybody, the best you can get, the best you could ever hope for out of a Republican is he'll go clean coal. You know, he has to, of course, throw that qualifier on there. Why don't we have coal plants going up everywhere?
I would put a coal plant in my backyard if I was given the permit to. We should have coal absolutely everywhere. And it's absolutely essential, not just for electricity, but for steel, for cement, for plastic, for almost all manufacturing. We can't live without coal. That's why, it was so frustrating when you'd see that moron who was in the White House the last couple of years talk about how we were going to shut down every damn coal plant in this country. And the idiots around him would clap and say, you don't really know how things are made there, Mr. Biden, do you? You don't realize that you can't make steel without coal. It's just absolutely impossible. So, no, we should be building coal more. And we have several coal plants. I mentioned the 5 in Texas that have been shuttered. They should be turned back on, and turned back on quick, because like I mentioned with your balmy mid-August day yesterday, that is a bad policy to say, thank God it's not so hot, and you're not getting these messages. Hey, Kelly family, you should raise your thermostat and not heat your pool, right? I've seen you tweet about that. Don't tell me how to consume electricity. You guys produce more of it. That's your damn job. That hasn't happened a lot because we've had a balmy year, but dodging a bullet is not good policy, and we have dodged a bullet this year.
Daniel, tell me about hydropower. Why is that not bigger? Or is it big and I just don't know about it?
It is big, especially in places like my home state of New York, which a huge percentage of the state's power comes from hydro because of Niagara Falls. And that's wonderful. And most of Canada is powered because of Niagara Falls. But for hydro to work, you either need a natural development, a natural area like Niagara Falls, or you need to build a great big dam. Remember back in the day, MSNBC used to have those commercials with Chris Matthews at the Hoover Dam and Rachel Maddow, and they talk about, we used to build great things in this country, and we don't build anymore. The idea that we would build the Hoover Dam in America right now is impossible. Right, the idea of blocking a river, of changing ecosystems. Jesse, there may have been a native tribe that once performed a ritual on the land nearby. So that's the biggest problem for hydro. We could dam rivers everywhere, and we could build natural reservoirs and natural waterfalls, and we could have water supply. Texas could be doing this everywhere, and you'd never have to worry about water in Texas. But good luck trying to battle the environmental groups, and who has the political courage to do that? So what do? Wind power, Jesse. That's what Texans do. They do what's politically palatable, and that's why Texas is in the pickle that it is. And again, I hate picking on Texas, but I use you guys specifically as an example because Texas is not quite as Texan as Texans think Texas is. And that's important for America to know. We look at Texas as the example of conservative everything, and it's not. It is hiding, and it's giving its bad example to other red states to follow.
He is not wrong at all. Daniel Turner, Power the Future. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it.
God bless you, Jesse. Great to be with you.